Hola everyone and welcome to Play It Like Dimebag. In this series I'm covering Dimebag's solos in detail. My main goal is not only to show you what I believe are the right notes, but also to show how to play them right. There's a huge difference between playing the right notes and playing them right. And since this iconic solo of FLOODS needs, I believe, maybe even a little more attention, I figured that I'm gonna show you the first part, the first solo first, and in another lesson the second one. Simultaneously, it's almost throughout the entire solo, it's 2 tracks. And especially in the first part of the solo, which I'm showing it to you now, there's some differences between the 2 sides. These are important details and I'm trying to point out all the ones that I think are important and are there and that I can hear and know. So with all that being said, let's just go through the first part of this amazing solo. So before we would start the first part, there's that slide down, which is kind of a slow slide down, and I use my index finger to do that and to achieve that sound. So after the slide down, we mute the first 2 notes and then open up on the G8 and then another muted note on the D6. So together. This is the first part. So far, so simple. And then we pick again all downstrokes so far, the G8, and then slide up to the 9th. And then back to the 8th. And heavy vibrato. And for that, we use the pinky. And it's just a different control, therefore a different sound. So try with that one, because it would be easier to play it with the ring finger like that. But then it would get heavier, more Zakk Wylde-ish, and we are not aiming for that now. And then we pick the 6th on the G string with a downstroke, and then right after with an upstroke, the 8th again on the G string, and from here it's a pull off, a legato lick down to the 4th. There's some differences between the 2 sides, and that gives that wavy kind of sound. It's more chorusy, it's just a fatter, it's a different sound. So he wasn't necessarily aiming for playing twice the same, but to play with the certain pinched harmonics or muted notes or even picked notes. Sometimes he picks a note, sometimes he didn't. So on one side, this lick starts with the pinched harmonic, and then the next one on the upstroke, it's not a pinched harmonic, obviously. And then we ended up on the same pinched harmonic on the G6. And this is very important. To achieve this kind of Dimebag-ish pinched harmonic, you wouldn't want to pick too hard, so it's not a big movement, it's already sitting on the string kinda. Instead of, it's more like this. And also, depending on the setup on your guitar, it might be easier or harder to achieve, because if the action is too low on your guitar, it would be a little more difficult to make this. And if it's higher, the action, then it's kind of easier. And the other very important thing is to angle the pick. You can actually see on a lot of footages that he was angling the pick for that kind of pinch harmonics. And it's all throughout the solo, this way. I can hear that on one side it's picked twice. So once on the 1st fret, when you start to slide up, and then again the 5th with a pinched harmonic, just a slight pinched harmonic there, and it's a little further up compared to the ones that we've been playing so far. And then the 7th on the A string it's not pinched, but then the ninth on the D string is. And then you go back to the A string, no pinched harmonics, and then again to the ninth, and it's pinched harmonic. It's kind of difficult to switch between playing pinched harmonics and not playing them, you'll see. And then slide up from the 9th to the 13th, and then pick the 14th on the D string. Same technique, angle your right hand, and then pick the 13th again. These are very similar pinched harmonics. You make them on the same place. And then you go down to the 11th fret on the D string. Same pinched harmonic, but now you also add ghost notes there. So it's not just but. And it makes a difference. Slowly. And then just drop that. So this next part starts with a muted note on the E second, and then open A fourth, and then pinched harmonics on the 6th fret on the D string. And this is kind of cool. So on one side, actually on the right side, it's not one note on the 6th of the D string, but two. A little pinch harmonic at the beginning, and then go down to the A fourth. On the other side, on the left side, these double notes are coming on the A fourth the second time. So it's, and the two together gives another wavy kind of vibe, which I actually figured out right before I did this lesson part. The next note is the same on both sides. The 6th again with pinched harmonics, and now you don't slide up, but you bend that up with the pinky. And after you bend that up a half a note, you pick the 6th again and you do a vibrato there. And do the same kind of thing. That's happening every other round. And again, pinch harmonic at the beginning, and upstroke, and then legato, and end up on the pinch harmonic. You can make that one a little wider. So this last bar of the first round is very similar to the previous one. We're in the same position, so it starts on the 2nd fret on the A string with the downstroke and the palm mute, and then the 4th on the D, open, and then go up to the 6th of the G string with the pinched harmonic. We're not doubling these notes, nor the ones that are coming now. And then pick with the pinched harmonic the 6th, bend it up, go back and pick it again. And then this leg. And you bend this one, the last note, the 4th on the G string, up a half a note. Pick it, let it ring, bend it up, and then vibrate it hard. On one side I can hear it doubling, meaning that you also pick the 4th. On the other side I can only hear one pick, and that would be around the 1st or the 2nd fret. And then you pick the same pattern, no pinched harmonics, and just a slight little mute, very slight, very gentle, and then slide up to the 9th on the G string, and from the 9th we slide up to the 11th. On one side actually I can hear another slide up before picking the 11th, so that would sound like this. So right when you get there. On the other side it's a little behind. again, it's just it makes it more interesting and different. And then it's the same on both sides. You pick the 13th on the G string and you add the pinched harmonics as well, but this time around there's a lot of ghost notes, and also I've found, at least on my guitar, I have to pick this one a little harder. Pick it, bend it, and then release it back. You might want to turn off the noise gate for this one. Or add gain, something like that. So there's two variations again. The beginning part is the same. A little bit of palm mutings. Slide up to the 13th on the D string, and then pick the 14th, pinched harmonic, and a little vibrato there. And here comes the variation. So on one side, the first one, and then the second one, sounds like this. And then you just slide down with that pinched harmonic note. On the other side, you bend it up twice and only pick it once. And then you pick the last one. But that's not a vibrato there, you just drop it. So that's the other one. Or... This is probably one of the more simple ones. So, same pattern, muted first note, and then open, pinched harmonic, and then open again, and then pinched harmonic and the bending, and pick it again with the pinched harmonic, and then the same. Although what makes this part interesting is that on one side there's a little bit of delay at one note. I'm not sure which one, I don't remember yet. Maybe this last one or somewhere in between. But you know, things like this can happen in the studio. When you make I can imagine that it was not intentional, so sometimes mistakes can sound really badass, and that's the annoying part of making demos and make the demos really good, because there's always those nuances that you can never repeat again. So yeah, again, just you always use your ear, and if it sounds good, then it's right. That's what, or something like this was that Time used to say all the time. If it sounds right to you, then it is right. So it's a fun thing, and it seems to be something that is true. So here we are, last round, and the last bar of the last round. Starts with the palm mute, and then the second one is also palm muted, and then pinched harmonics, and then go back with the palm muting, and then pinched harmonic and the bending, and then just a pinched harmonic, a pinched harmonic on the 4th, and then an upstroke on the 6th of the G string, and then legato, and it on the 4th of the G string. And on one side, you pick that 4th with the pinched harmonic, bend it up, pick it again with the pinched harmonic, and then you pick it again, so it's 3 times. And a very wide vibrato. On the other side, it's only picked twice. And then comes the rest. So this was lesson number 1 for floods, and I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something. And if you liked what you hear and see, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'm uploading videos every week. I also have a Patreon site. If you want to check that out, there's tons of cool contents, and some of the lessons are only available there with backing tracks. More info if you click on the link below. And again, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Ciao! And it's completely normal if the sound kind of goes out and fades out, because there's not too... okay. And right after that,